Hey guys, BJ with Very Basic Bible. Do a Bible 10-minute quick read over the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel was one nation, and Solomon screwed up, and they're split into two nations. The northern half retains the name Israel. The southern half is called Judah. We're going to read from the split until Israel on the northern is exiled. The history of the northern nation of Israel. Yeah. Okay, we're very close to the end. We're going to get a lot of kings in rapid succession. You're going to be like, wait, which king is which? That's the confusing part. Who knows? All right, here we go, guys. Got 10 minutes on the phone timer. 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 23. Here we go. In the 15th year of Judah's king Amaziah, son of Joash, Jeroboam the second, son of Jehoash, became king of Israel and Samaria. He reigned 41 years. It's a pretty long time. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit. Of course not. None of them do. Turn away, morons. He restored Israel's border from Lebo Hamath as far as the Sea of the Arabah, according to the word of the Lord, the God of Israel, had spoken through his servant, the prophet Jonah, son of Amittai, from Gath Hefer. Jonah, son of Amittai. I think that's the same Jonah from the book of Jonah. Is he from Amittai? I don't know. That'd be pretty neat. Anyway, all that Jonah did was whine and complain and get vomited up by a fish. Okay, for the Lord saw that the affliction of Israel was very bitter for both slaves and free people. There was no one to help Israel. The Lord had not said he would blot out the name of Israel under heaven. So he delivered them by the hand of Jeroboam, son of Jehoash. Okay, so even though Jeroboam didn't turn from his sins, God's like, I'm going to have mercy on him and deliver him. That's pretty cool. The rest of the events of Jeroboam's reign, along with all this. Now, some kings, God doesn't deliver. Some kings he destroys. He lets them get assassinated. He sends foreign armies. And then some kings, hey, I'm going to deliver them. God works in mysterious ways. I don't know. The rest of events of Jeroboam's reign, along with all his accomplishments, the power he had to wage war, and how he recovered for Israel Damascus and Hamath, which had belonged to Judah, are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. So Jeroboam restored some cities that Judah had taken, I guess, because Judah here and Israel and keep fighting each other. Jeroboam rested with his ancestors, the kings of Israel. His son Zechariah became king in his place. In the 27th year of Israel's king Jeroboam, Azariah, the son of Amaziah, became king of Judah. Wait, if it's Azariah, is it Amaziah? Or if it's Amaziah, is it Azariah? I don't know. Who cares? All right, so now we're reading about Judah again. Even though it's a southern nation of Israel, Judah and even though we're reading about the northern nation of Israel, the southern nation and northern nation are so tied together. So sometimes, they overlap. Azariah, son of Amaziah, he was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jechaliah. She was from Jerusalem. Azariah did what was right in the Lord's sight, just as his father Amaziah had done. Yet the high places were not taken down. The people continued sacrificing and burning incense on the high places, of course. The Lord afflicted the king, and he had a serious skin disease until the day of his death. He lived in quarantine while Jotham, the king's son, was over the household governing the people of the land. That's a funny thing to say. The king lived in quarantine while the king's son, Jotham, some other king? Why not his son? I don't know. The rest of the events of Azariah's reign, along with all his accomplishments, are written in the historical record of Judah's kings. I bet you didn't know this where they were written. We've only said it like 100 times. Azariah rested with his ancestors and was buried with his ancestors in the city of David, as usual. His son Jotham became king in his place. In the 38th year of Judah's king Azariah, Zechariah, son of Jeroboam, reigned over Israel and Samaria for 6 months. Man, not very long. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight, as his predecessors had done. He did not turn away from the sins Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit. Shallum, son of Jabesh, conspired against Zechariah. He struck him down publicly, killed him, and became king in his place. As for the rest of the events of Zechariah's reign, they are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. The word of the Lord that he spoke to Jehu was, 4 generations of your sons will sit on the throne of Israel. And it was so. I guess Zechariah was Jehu's 4th son. In the 39th year of Judah's king Uzziah, shout Uzziah. Is that a new king? Or is that another name for Azariah? I only say that because I think I read that somewhere in some commentary when I was studying this once for a sermon. Okay, sorry to confuse everybody. Okay, here we go. In the 39th year of Judah's king Uzziah, Shallum, son of Jabesh, became a king. He reigned in Samaria for a full month. Then Menahem, son of Gadi, came up from Tirzah to Samaria and struck down Shallum, the son of Jabesh there. He killed him to become king in his place. As for the rest of the events of Shallum's reign, along with the conspiracy that he formed, I guess against the prior king, they are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. At that time, starting from Tirzah, Menahem attacked Tipsah, all who were in it and its territory, because they wouldn't surrender. He ripped open all the pregnant women. Sheesh. Menahem, son of Gadi, killed him. I think it said what? He reigned for Shallum reigned for a full month. How long is Menahem going to reign? In the 39th year of Judah's king Azariah, Menahem, son of Gadi, became king over Israel, and he reigned 10 years in Samaria. 10 years, okay. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. Throughout his reign, he did not turn away from the sins Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit. King Pul of Assyria invaded the land. So Menahem gave Pul 75,000 pounds of silver so that Pul would support him to strengthen his grasp on the kingdom. So now he's got a foreign king behind him. He's like, hey, I got a foreign king. Can't attack me now, other nations. I'm okay. Then Menahem exacted 20 ounces of silver from each of the prominent men of Israel on a tax to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria withdrew and did not stay there in the land. The rest of the events of Menahem's reign, along with all his accomplishments, are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. I wouldn't call ripping open pregnant women an accomplishment. Menahem rested with his ancestors, and his son Pekahiah became king in his place. In the 5th year of Judah's king Azariah, Pekahiah, son of Menahem, became king over Israel and Samaria, and he reigned 2 years. So many kings of Israel in a row. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight and did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit. Then his officer, Pekah, son of Remaliah, conspired against him, struck him down in Samaria at the citadel of the king's palace. With Argob and Ariah, there were 50 Gilead men with Pekah. He killed Pekahiah and became king in his place. Imagine it's like you got a king named Pekahiah, then somebody kills him and you got the king Pekah, and you accidentally be like, hey, it's Pekahiah. No, it's Pekah. No, which king is it? Wait, what? As for the rest of the events of Pekahiah's reign, along with all his accomplishments, they are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. I wish it were different too, but you know. In the 52nd year of Judah's king Azariah, Pekah, son of Remaliah, became king over Israel and Samaria, and he reigned 20 years. I'm not even going to look at the next verse. He committed evil in the Lord's sight, according to Jeroboam, the son of... He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He did not turn away from the sins Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit. Man, these dudes need it. What are they doing? In the days of King Pekah of Israel, King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria came and captured Ijon, Abel, Beth Makkah, Janoah, Kadesh, Hazar, Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and deported the people to Assyria. God's starting to get, God's like, look, y'all aren't behaving. Y'all killing each other off. You're ripping open your own pregnant women. You're being stupid. I'm going to give the whole land of Naphtali to the king of Assyria. Man, exile right there in the NASB, exile to Assyria. Then Hoshea, son of Elah, organized a conspiracy against Pekah, son of Remaliah. He attacked him, killed him, and became king in his place. Who said the Bible isn't fun? Man. In the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. As for the rest of the events of Pekah's reign, along with all his accomplishments and his idiocies, they are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. In the second year of Israel's king Pekah, son of Remaliah, Jotham, son of Uzziah, became king of Judah. Okay, so Jotham, son of, remember, Jotham was son of Azariah. Then it said Azariah. Then it said Uzziah. Then it said Azariah again. Now it says Uzziah. Some people have more than one name. That's a common thing. Yes. I believe Shallum, who I talked about earlier, is named Jeconiah and Coniah in the book of Jeremiah. They call him Coniah. Like, what? My name is BJ and it's Robert. So, go figure. All right. Jotham, son of Uzziah, he was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, daughter of Zadok. He did what was right in the Lord's sight, just as his father Uzziah had done. That's good. That's good. Did what was right in the Lord's sight. Okay, guys. Hey, wait. Yet the high places were not taken down. Let's see. Yet the high places were not taken. Man. Okay, someday them high places will come down because Jesus is going to come back, kick butt, take names, take down the high places of our hearts, I guess, So, pray that God would fix us instead of me fussing at the King of Israel. But if you want better Bible teaching than this quick little excursus here, just below the video, just above the comments, you got lots of internet links to other teachings. Teachers who teach long, teachers who teach detailed. They do, verse by verse, give you all the details. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next very basic Bible